Alright, hello everybody, welcome to another Green Square Talks Battlebots podcast. So, we are here with the episode 7 review, and BBBN, Blaze, Civilian Arc, and Derin are all joining me for this one to discuss this episode. So, how's it going, all four of you?
Wonderfully.
Smoking that pack, man.
Which pack?
I just touched a tremendous.
The
touched.
BBBN pack. What else do you think I would be smoking?
Crack?
Weed.
Grass?
Maybe.
I just touched a tremendous amount of grass.
Wow, I'm so proud of you.
Civ, man, can't believe Civ's lying on the podcast.
Damn.
Never know.
That's a shame.
I have to pretend I'm you all the time. So.
Oh gosh. But
I mean, I actually did touch grass this weekend, so.
But yeah, once again, this is our review of the 7th episode of the 7th World Championship of Battlebots, where we'll be discussing all 7 of these battles one by one and talk about the action, share some of our opinions, as we usually do. So, before we start talking about Bloodsport Gigabyte, just to warn you as usual, we will be talking about the results of each of these matchups, so there will be spoilers. So, if you haven't seen the fights yet or seen the episode, I would recommend checking those out because we will be talking about the results. Sorry, Blaze, but we will be sharing results in this one. So
no, that's crazy. Oh my goodness.
Well, too bad. Cry about
No,
it. So
be hella ambiguous about the fights in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just gonna say this. I can't believe that one robot beat the other robot. It was crazy.
Anyway.
How about that opener fight?
Yeah, let's talk about that opening matchup.
Oh, that was awesome.
That hit was pretty silly.
Yeah. So, lead off the episode, we had Bloodsport and Gigabyte. Both robots coming off of a pretty devastating loss. Gigabyte losing to free shipping in its first match. And then Bloodsport going out in one hit against Copperhead. So, must-win fight for both these robots. And yeah, this fight, definitely one that Battlebots was hyping up quite a bit because there was a clip of the big hit in the trailer, and sure enough, we got a pretty epic fight between these two, and only one could come out on top, and it ended up being Bloodsport. So, yeah, I'll leave the floor to you four. So, what are y'all's thoughts on this one?
So Gigabyte. Now, Gigabyte. It's not that Gigabyte's a bad robot, in my opinion. I think they're just like the driving has been as well as it has been in previous seasons, and not to mention that it's new drivers, which I mean you can't really test driving anywhere except inside the BattleBots. So
yeah, this was kind of just like an unfortunate time to just like switch who's driving. I think it would have been better if they had like, well, I don't even know if Gigabyte is on Destructathon. By the way, I was shown a video of a Destructathon thing, and apparently Malice is like kicking Whiplash's ass or something, which is pretty cool.
As they would IR in the main competition too. So,
but I think it
well,
would
to be
have
fair,
been.
that's season 4 Whiplash.
I think it would have been a good time to like watch the robots, like watch the Gigabyte drivers like transition, like take them to Destructathon and then have them transition, you know, like a not giant competing competition.
Yeah, like a sort of like the MLB where they have like
yeah
AAA like teams, and then they have the actual major league teams. Yeah, that makes sense.
What I'm going to say here, because I'm going to kind of pop into this conversation here, I kind of disagree with a lot that's being said here. I don't think Gigabyte lost this fight on driving, personally, because I thought their driving was. I thought their driving was fine in this one, because they managed to get the spin up to speed a couple times, landed a few good hits on Bloodsport while Bloodsport was pointing their wedge config at Gigabyte. I'm guessing they pointed at it to try to break the full body spinner. I think the reason Gigabyte lost this fight was mostly just. Basically, like I said on my prediction podcast, I was predicting that whoever was going to win this fight was going to be the one to hold up to the shots better, and Gigabyte just did not hold up to that big hit we saw as well as Bloodsport did, and that's what I think lost them that fight. Because, Bloodsport mentioned in their post-fight report that on that big hit, Gigabyte took a bunch of internal damage, causing him to lose the spinner. One drive side got disabled, and the other drive side lost the belt, which caused them to lose movement right there. So, kind of like what I'm saying right here is, I don't think Gigabyte lost the fight at all on driving. I thought the driving was just fine from Gigabyte on this fight. Like, it definitely wasn't great in the free shipping fight, but that's not at all what costed them this fight, in my opinion.
Yeah.
My
Well, I
guess is
mean-
more like it's kind of just like a risk to let like more
New drivers.
Gigabyte drivers go in like a more competitive Battlebots field. Like, yeah, they did fine in this fight, but like, if I was like the Gigabyte team, and I'm not gonna say that I could do better than them because I wouldn't. But in my mind,
Yeah.
I'd probably have them transition in the Destructathon.
Destructathon? Yeah. That's
Yeah.
fair. And another thing is that Bloodsport actually nearly lost the fight at the beginning before they started
That's
using
true.
this kind
I wouldn't
So
say
it's
they nearly lost the fight exactly, because like it
Yeah.
looked
on their side and couldn't self-right.
I don't know about that exactly, because it sounds like it was looking like they were going to self right there. It's just Gigabyte went in for that hit. Derin, go ahead and chime in since I know you want to.
I actually have some news about the self-writing thing. According to one of the team members, the weapon motors that they purchased claimed a higher torque than they actually had, and they used the false high torque to make the self-writing pole thing. And then when they reran the simulation with the new torque, they found that they would be just barely able to self-write with their current configuration if conditions were perfect. So they didn't really have a reliable self-writing mechanism. So it was possible that they actually would have gotten completely stuck on their side and then able to self-write if Gigabyte didn't hit them.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. I mean, that sucks that the thing Bloodsport, what is Bloodsport lied about how much they could do.
Yeah. Bloodsport definitely mentioned that one of their big concerns is their ability to self-write this season, because it sounds like they have been having troubles with that, and unfortunately we didn't get to see them prove whether that's the case or not. And hey Google, as for whether they could self-write in this fight, but Gigabyte, I think they made the right move going in for that hit, just in case if Bloodsport was to right themselves right there, because Bloodsport is probably most exposed on the underside, or maybe the top weapon motor area. But I think it was the right move to go in for that hit. But yeah, sadly it didn't end up being enough, because then Bloodsport decided to start spinning up the weapon, and eventually Gigabyte just couldn't handle those hits. It's sad though, because like Gigabyte previous few seasons was like an insanely durable robot along with the power. It just doesn't feel like we're just not seeing that durability this season, unfortunately. I don't know if there were some changes internal wise that are causing it problems like that, but it's just not the same exactly. And I think that's what's holding Gigabyte back a little more this season than like the new drivers exactly. Definitely the drivers like I'm not saying they're bad drivers or anything like that, because like there are many cases within many other teams where they got a new driver in there, and pretty much the best way to become better at driving is just to keep driving, like Valkyrie said online. So I don't think it was a bad move by Gigabyte to implement new drivers at all. I want to make that very clear. So yeah. Anything else really to talk about with Bloodsport versus Gigabyte, or should we talk about their next opponents?
I want to see how much damage that Bloodsport actually took, because that was a pretty big hit.
I think that the front wedge
Yeah.
thingy,
The front wedge
think it
is
meant-
pretty. Yeah, the front wedge got pretty banged up.
Like,
yeah, it was bent enough that it actually lifted the front two wheels off the ground.
Yeah.
So that's why they're having a bit of issues near the end.
Yep. Yeah, then I'm guessing there was probably some internal damage in there, because there always is when you have two massive spinners like that. But yeah. Let's talk about their next opponents. Bloodsport has a big opponent next with Rotator, who looked really good in their previous fight with Jackpot. Gigabyte's got an interesting test with Star Child for their next opponent. What are our thoughts on those two fights that we'll be seeing sometime soon?
Bloodsport Rotators really realistically only has one way it could possibly go, and that's Rotator. Just because Rotator, in my opinion, is
Really?
just
I wouldn't say that. I
I
wouldn't say exactly one way,
I
but
think
I wouldn't say that either.
I think
Yeah, there's
Bloodsport
not one way.
well,
There's
okay.
multiple ways.
Well,
Rotator
it's
can
my
it's
go.
not
opinion.
a
It's not
one-sided
shut
fight
up.
because you
True.
can definitely see
It's
Bloodsport winning this one. You can
it's
see
my
how
opinion.
go ahead and
My
talk about it,
opinion.
Blaze.
Mainly because, first of all, Bloodsport. Yes, I will say Bloodsport has a stronger weapon, but Rotator is a lot more reliable and has a better wedge and maybe a bet and Rotator probably has a better driver.
Oh, it definitely has a better
never
driver.
say
It definitely
never.
has a better driver.
Yeah,
Never say never though, because you can. There is a scenario where Bloodsport could actually win this one. It's not exactly one-sided.
Right.
it's very close to being one-sided in my opinion, though.
Mm.
It's like 67. No, it's like 72% versus like 36% type of thing, where it's like you can see like a scenario.
Yeah, in my eyes, I think
What?
the only Bloodsport's best case scenario for to beat Rotator is if Rotator starts with the weapon side up, which I don't
I don't
really
even
think they'll
think
do. And
I don't
even
think
then,
they'll
even
do.
even then, Rotator probably has a good chance of beating Bloodsport there because it still has a chance of like jamming up Bloodsport's blade and then hitting the head, and then just everything just turns into
Mm,
Rotator Ice Wave
Now
V2.
yeah.
the question
Yeah.
is, what
Now
blade they're gonna use? That's the question here.
If I took
I
a
don't
guess, I
know.
I
bet
think they
probably
go for the most
Star.
reach. That's what they do. I think that's how you beat
I
Rotator is that you go with the
I
most
would
reach.
I wouldn't
or the
say
most
I'm
that.
not I'm
or for
not
the most
certain
reliable
exactly because
weapon.
like on one hand they could go for reach, which would help with the horizontal spinner side of rotator. But if
With
I
the wedge.
fully expect Rotator's going to go with a wedge for this fight, like what they went with for
Yeah,
like Captain
Yeah.
Shredderator, and with that they're probably going to want a shorter bar, like what they use for
I would
Gigabyte
Right.
here. So
say
it could. I don't
yeah, I
know
would
what
say the
direction Bloodsport's going to
weapon
go
weapon
for
is
which
Gigabyte.
blade they're going to use, but who
I
knows?
if
would
I
go
had
for
to,
reach just because of the fact that I'm afraid of the fact that either orientation Rotator picks, it could either clip your engine from the top or clip your wheels from the bottom.
Yep.
And
okay,
like I would
I have a
realistically
hot
want to
take.
have as much reach as possible in order to actually like
I have
hit
I have
Rotator before it hits you. Yep, go
I
for it.
have a hot take on what weapon they're going to use. Think they're going to use the disc-like spinner they used against Scorpios in 2020 season. And the reason for
Interesting.
that is they don't want Rotator to jam up their weapon as much so Rotator can go in for a shot on the underbelly or the head. Bloodsport has to spin up as much as possible to not die by Rotator. So in order to do that, they need to make
Right.
sure that their reach isn't bad enough to the point where Rotator jams up that weapon and Bloodsport can't do anything. So in my eyes, I think less reach is more in this scenario.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Okay, anyways, on to the other fight. Uh
Right.
Gigabyte Star
Gigabyte versus
Child.
Star Child.
I
Okay, now
think
this
that's
one
actually
is
a fight
more
Star Child can win. Honestly.
So did they
It's
like know Gigabyte? Did they like were they like future tellers and they could tell Gigabyte was gonna get like shit on for two fights and they gave it Star
nah.
Child for its third fight?
Well then they wanna
I
give it
think you give it a
they wanna
toss
give them
up
an end
in
game.
free shipping and Gigabyte, and then you make it lose against Bloodsport, and then yeah, you give it a bounce back in Star Child.
Yeah,
Apparently.
this one is the only one I see actually being one-sided. I do not see Star Child winning this one at all.
I can see Star Child winning just
How?
because well, first of all, personally I think Star Child is a lot more durable than Gigabyte this season. And if Gigabyte hits Star Child and gets sent across the box somehow, there's no real telling if Gigabyte's gonna be able to drive normally. Second of all, Star Child is built. Star Child has had success in the minor leagues, and the only real reason why I don't think it's doing as well as it has is just because of the inexperience of driving a. Is it different? It's different than driving P1, which is what Brandon used to drive.
Yeah.
I miss P1.
Oh, it's still
I
there.
do
It's
too.
there. It's there.
Yeah, P1 would be Gigabyte.
I don't know
So
if they could.
true.
They
No,
could. I don't
so
know.
true.
Actually, yeah, they could. Well, here's the thing. I feel like that Gigabyte is just as reliable as they were in previous seasons. It's just that it just kills itself because the reason why it didn't fail
Well,
is
so
because
that's
in
not
like
that's not helping your points, Google. You're saying
Well,
it's just as reliable, and then you say it's damaging itself. Doesn't that make it not
no,
as
because
reliable?
it's just that like when eventually if you just hit yourself in the wall, it's gonna because Gigabyte really does that like in previous seasons. They
Free
really
Exactly,
shipping
and it
do.
fight the
normally
order.
drive it just drives off. It used
I
to be
think
able to just
either I think either
hit
way
and then
Gigabyte
drive
probably wins.
off.
But like
Yeah, like here's
It
an
would really be
argument raised
funny.
that no one has brought it out yet. We have no idea how durable Star Child's wheels actually are.
that too.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Like it could be a Sonobuyachi huge moment where one good hit just takes a giant chunk out of like their wheels and then they
Or
can't
it could be
drive
a Gigabyte
as
huge
well.
moment.
Well, that was just to
It
play
could
devil's
be,
advocate.
but Huge won that.
Because
That was
yeah, that's
more of
fair.
Gigabyte's
For
driving
the
that screwed
reason.
it. It was more of Gigabyte's driving
Exactly.
that screwed it against Huge.
Yeah. So I'm gonna talk now about these fights. Then Bloodsport Rotator. My prediction is going to be Rotator, but I think Bloodsport stands a little more of a chance in this one than what some might expect with this one. Because like I do expect Rotators without a doubt is going to come with a spinner on one side and a wedge on the other. For this one, I think there's no doubt about that. But the one thing that
The spinner?
I could see Justin playing around with like turning the weapon on and off because I fully expect he's probably going to come with wedgelets or something like that for this fight, and they could try to use that to control the fight a little bit more, especially if Rotator does point the wedge at Bloodsport, hoping to slow that spinner down. Might help them push around Rotator a little bit, get some control points, and maybe set up Rotator for a hit or something. But yeah, I think odds are probably in Rotator's favor because can't deny that even with the weapons spinning at 50%, that it looked great in that fight with Jackpot, and we could
Yeah, it was only
if
spinning at
if
50%.
Rotator does perform like that, and we could definitely see some big stuff from Rotator coming. Uh, Gigabyte Star Child, that one, I am gonna pick Gigabyte for that one, but there's one other point that no one has brought up yet that I want to bring up for this part, and that is the one thing that I think Star Child could take advantage of in this fight. Well, one other thing I think they could take advantage of. Gigabyte hasn't been well known to be that well armored on top. Because take the huge fight, who managed to win that fight with Gigabyte. Combination of the fact that Gigabyte kind of broke itself by taking into the walls, but the fact that they attacked the top of Gigabyte for a lot of that, for several of the hits they landed on that robot in that match right there. Starchild's an overhead attacker. That's probably what they're going to try to do for this match. So,
An
but
overhead attacker that can barely do damage.
I thought
yeah,
too.
I
Like
w-
I think they get their weapon
like
valid in though.
I feel like
Well,
like
I
well,
think the thing with Star Child's weapon is that Quackbots. So here's the thing that we haven't really seen is that we haven't really seen Star Child's weapon in that much action because like Overhaul was just dodging most of that shit and
yeah,
Mammoth
but
Mammoth Mammoth nay.
regardless, we're gonna be talking about Star Child later on. But this is a must-win fight for both robots because both robots are currently at 0-2 right now. So, but this one's gonna come down to who can hold up to the other's impact better, who can avoid breaking themselves in this one. Since Gigabyte's kind of been a little bit prone to that, at least early on in the season. Because like I'd also add that both these robots, like I feel they both have kind of had a little bit of driving troubles here. Gigabyte, both with new drivers, as we've mentioned so far, and Starchild, it's a hard robot to drive. Brandon has made that very clear, or whoever runs the Starchild social media. So, yeah, this one's going to come. This one, I'm going to predict it's going to end in a judge's decision, in my opinion, but I could see it the other way. So, it's a mystery.
Anyways, anyways, both bots are probably losing their fourth fight. Anyways,
You never
Big
know.
West Star Child, and then I don't know.
All right, anybody else want to talk about those two matchups if you haven't already? All right, should we move on to the next matchup then?
Yeah.
Yeah, next fight was this one. So,
Oh boy.
Carousel
For
of
Horizon.
all right, next fight,
Horizon.
Monsoon and Horizon. So, Monsoon tested
Or
out their
Horizon.
anti-horizontal spinner configuration for this fight, which involved a wedge up front, since Monsoon has been vulnerable to horizontal spinners in the past. For example, Sun Waiachi and Valkyrie. So, Horizon was a definitely good test for that horizontal spinner configuration, just knowing that Horizon's definitely doesn't have as much power as many of the horizontal spinners, but like it's a unique design and something where I don't think we've seen the full potential of it yet. So,
Oh, we certainly haven't.
oh, definitely not. So, but
We have not.
yeah,
It
this
hasn't worked for the first two
That
fights.
horizontal wedge had me at half mast.
yeah. So, but
Okay.
this one I think was just flat out an excellent driving match from Tom in this one. I think he drove this fight perfectly and just did not give the Horizon team a chance. So, uh, yeah, I'll leave the floor to you guys to talk about this short matchup that we got here.
This was
Yeah,
probably
this
one
was
of my favorite
this was a
fights
good
of the night.
fight.
Tom's reaction after winning made me so happy. I was
Yeah,
Miss.
dude, it's like I think it's first fight he's won in like 3 years.
Dude,
Since
it made me
because
so happy.
Not because his robot is terrible, but because of the fact that he hasn't been there in 3 years.
Yeah.
Robot's still terrible.
like
Exactly.
Wow.
Last year, I think Monsoon
like-
probably would have made top 32.
I
Also,
think did they? I'm trying to remember. I think the robot showed up last year, but the team couldn't make it to the show.
Yeah,
the robot
yeah. I
was
think
just
Monsoon.
gone.
I think Monsoon was one of many robots where like the robot got there, but then UK imposed a bunch of travel restrictions, and so teams like them, Beta, and several others couldn't make it because of that. And
Yeah.
Yeah, majority. For sure, all of them were British teams.
yeah,
Well, European.
yeah, European area, because it was a time when there was a rising number of COVID cases and in the United States, which caused that to happen. So, but I completely agree. It was nice. It was very nice to see Monsoon rebound in this fight with a victory, right there, and especially a victory so dominant. Like we got to see the potential of that robot in the Black Dragon fight, and getting to see it like actually get that W, even if it was against like a less quality opponent as of right now in Horizon. It was still a great rebound victory from Monsoon, and it'll be interesting to see how they do going forward when they take on Whiplash and Death Roll for their next two, and hopefully we'll see Horizon rebound, because like I said earlier, I don't think we've seen the full potential of that robot, and they have two interesting matchups for their next two fights themselves. So, but
Yeah.
I'm crying.
yeah.
Oh my
Anybody else
God.
want to talk about Horizon Monsoon?
Um,
This is, to be honest, I genuinely don't remember a thing that happened in this fight, and that might be because the rest of the fights are pretty banger, but I don't know. I just forgot most of the shit that happened to me.
That's fair.
I think this was honestly probably one of my favorite fights of the night, just because of first of all how short it was, and then Monsoon, a robot that I'm pretty sure everyone loves, gets a win, which was amazing.
Yep. Well, Well, should we talk about their next opponents then? So Horizon is gonna be taking on Shatter for their next opponent, which we haven't seen Shatter's next fight yet. But I think it's a couple episodes away. They're gonna fight Beta, which should be an interesting hammer-on-hammer battle.
Sure, it was supposed to be an episode.
Yeah, I noticed they flipped around some of the fights in each episode. I can confirm from seeing the fight card recently because it was released to Battlebot supporters. It is not on the next fight card. So, and Monsoon is going to be taking on Whiplash for their next fight, which I think.
Okay, Monsoon Whiplash is honestly though.
Google, you should send in the video you sent me into the podcast chat.
Oh boy.
I actually should. You know, I'm gonna show it to y'all right now if y'all want to see it.
It's such a mind fuck.
Well,
It's from Destructive Thought.
who's going to talk about the? You guys talk about these next two fights.
I'll talk about them.
Let's see here.
Whiplash Monsoon. So Whiplash has been struggling a lot, but here's the thing. I honestly don't trust Monsoon. I have a hot take, and my hot take is that Monsoon is British uppercut, and by that I mean it's a very powerful vertical spinner that is going to be extremely hard to control.
Wouldn't Monsoon or wouldn't Uppercut just be the American Monsoon since Monsoon came first, technically, at least in Battlebots?
Yeah, but Uppercut's a bigger meme.
That's also true.
Well, I mean, I just called Monsoon a bigger meme because Tim Rackley is Monsoon chant.
Well, true.
Okay, we are having a conversation about which robot is the bigger meme. This is
So I think it's between Monsoon's reliability and not Monsoon's reliability, Whiplash's reliability and Monsoon's inability to stay in control of itself. I think I'm gonna go with Whiplash here just because I think one hit from Monsoon could screw Whiplash over, while I think like a bunch of control from Whiplash to Monsoon doesn't necessarily decide the match. So it's like if you get one hit, you're dead, but if you get controlled all over the place, then you're not necessarily dead. I'll go Monsoon here.
In terms of reliability, has been shockingly like struggling there.
Yeah.
2 KO.
yeah.
The video I just sent just shows how like what happened.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Which,
so
like,
another
the
thing I want
remaster
to note
is
is that Monsoon has like much more controlled drive than it used to have. You know how like every time that Monsoon would move, like when it's in like full speed, it would like have its sides lift upwards. Like it did that in the Black Dragon fight, but like way less than it did before. And in this fight, I didn't see it at all.
In this.
Well, it's because it was a
It
wedge.
didn't have the ability.
I know.
Yeah, it had a wedge. It didn't have the ability to lift up.
Even with the normal configuration, it doesn't do it as often anymore. Like it doesn't do that.
That's fair. That's true. It only did it like once or twice in the Black Dragon fight.
Yeah, I only did like a couple times.
I'm gonna pick Monsoon here.
Recently.
I'm gonna pick Monsoon here.
Okay. And why?
And why is that, BBBN?
Okay. Sorry. my internet cut out there. I'm gonna pick Monsoon. Because we've seen just huge hits coming from Monsoon, where like bottom plates are just getting torn into, and Whiplash's reliability hasn't been great. Like it took that one big hit from Mad Catter, took a bunch of like smaller hits from Hypershock kaput. So I think Whiplash will one or two hits from Monsoon, and then there's going to be a kill shot, and I will take Monsoon.
Also, if Whiplash loses to Monsoon, that means it's on a 6-fight losing streak.
Oh.
Oof. Dang. Really?
Because you have Cobalt and Witch Doctor, and then wait, no, not 6. I think it's 5. Wait, yeah, it would be 6 in that case. Yeah.
No, it wouldn't. No, because Whiplash, Witch Doctor happened after Whiplash dominated the entire the Witch Doctor
Oh
bracket.
fuck. Oh
So
fuck,
you
that's
can't
true.
count her.
Five
Oh,
fight
well,
losing streak then.
No,
no,
but
it would be 4.
right?
No,
Why would it
it
be
would it would be
four?
5 if you count Remars where they lost a blip.
That's what
Oh
I'm
yeah,
saying.
Remars happened. I forgot
Uh,
Remars existed. Because to be fair, Battlebots hasn't posted anything about.
Well, anyway, I'm going to talk about these now. Horizon and Shatter, which nobody has brought up yet. So
I
as
said
for,
that was gonna be a
That'd be an
fun
as for
interesting
fight.
one.
as for Horizon Shatter, that one I actually think Horizon could have a shot at that one, and the reason why I state that is like unlike Monsoon, Shatter is not that. I would not consider Shatter to be that fast of a robot. So I don't think Shatter can box rush Horizon as easily as Monsoon did. So I think Horizon could have a shot to get the full bodies, get the spinners up to speed and have that arm spinning, which I know that they've been, which I know is what the point of the design is and what they're probably trying to go for at least, and what they're trying to get set up for a match like this. But I still think I'm going to predict Shatter because there are a lot of really exposed areas on the top of Horizon that I feel Shatter can take advantage of with that hammer, and there's a lot of area and there's a lot of surface area that Shatter could hit. So I think that I kind of sensing a maybe like a Wanhu Shatter repeat in a way. So and then Monsoon and Whiplash. I'm personally going to predict Monsoon as well. I think this one's going to be I'm predicting, I'm kind of foreshadowing a repeat of Whiplash and Hypershock right there. I think Matt's driving skills are going to be in full effect very early on in this one, which is kind of expected because Whiplash is at 0-2 right now with 2 losses to Mad Catter and Hypershock, and they get another massive vertical spinner for this fight. Like he's definitely going to be like out for. I don't really want to say out for blood in this one because Whiplash doesn't exactly do that much damage, but like he's definitely gonna his driving skills. He's gonna be trying to be as at 100% as possible, as close to that as possible, basically. So
Well, I
like
mean,
he's definitely
not
going to come
too
out. He's
afterwards,
definitely going to be
but
coming out swinging with that spinner and lifter or whatever Whiplash is coming with for this one, but I do worry because
okay.
I think Monsoon could definitely capable of landing the destructive shots in this one, and I'm not very concerned about how well Whiplash it would be able to survive that. Because like Matt said right before the fight with Hypershock, they're short staffed this year, and it seems like maintaining Whiplash seems to be a little more of a challenge this season around based on what they've mentioned since Jason Vasquez wasn't able to be there this season. So, but yeah, I am gonna predict Monsoon because I like the power in that bar spinner right there. But like I said, I would not be surprised if Whiplash took it one bit. So yeah,
So, it's my turn because I haven't said anything.
yeah,
I
you
think
have.
Shatter
You
is going to
talked
be
about Monsoon
pivotal.
Whiplash.
I talked about Monsoon Whiplash, and I didn't say my opinions
Talk
though.
about the other fight. Talk about the other fight.
I already did. I said it was going to be a funny fight.
God.
Green just didn't hear me. Now that you
No.
heard me, I said it was going to be silly
You sure?
because it will
Oh,
be.
okay. All right. What's
And then
who's Horizon fighting and Shatter?
Shatter.
Shatter. I Let me say my opinion because Whiplash is going to beat Monsoon. All right,
It's a fair take.
trust me.
Okay.
Trust me, guys.
Oh, so
I could
It's not.
absolutely see that happening because I seriously think this fight's either gonna be Whiplash winning by judge's decision by controlling the match and avoiding the bar spinner, or Monsoon winning this fight on doing damage.
I'm
So
not saying you're wrong, but can you elaborate for me?
yeah, totally
Well,
see,
you
because
see, Whiplash. Whiplash is Whiplash, in my opinion, it has a better driver.
Okay.
And personally, I think with Monsoon is prone to bots that are able to control it a lot easier. Because Black Dragon, like for instance, if Whiplash's weapon goes down like it did in in the Black Dragon fight, which yes, I know how it went down, and it could happen again. The bullet could do the little thingy it did, and Whiplash tips Monsoon over, and Monsoon physically can't drive.
That's solid. I give you
Yeah.
I wonder.
Whatever. I don't think you're. I think you're wrong, but because like
Man,
you can you can
okay.
you can say a driver's good all you want, but if a good driver has a really like terrible robot, like really terrible robot in the terms of reliability, like you can't like reliability can only a good driver can only take you so far. You need to have reliability to back it up, and Whiplash hasn't had
Yeah,
that this year,
yeah.
at least.
I will say
The
that
Flash will win the giant
I
nut. Trust me. Trust me,
I
guys.
will say that
You're
Whiplash had
full of
like
it.
better
I'm gonna ping
challenges.
Bro,
Mantine.
Whiplash is my second. Whiplash is my second favorite robot, though.
But you can't have bias towards it if it's not competing good.
Yes, I'm going to have bias towards every. I keep saying Mammoth is gonna win the giant
You
nut,
can't
man.
say you
You
can't
expect
be
me
a
to be.
Bears
You
fan
you
and say
are.
you can't be a
So,
fucking
how about
Bears
that
fan
next
and say that
fight?
you're making the Super Bowl when you're
Yeah.
3-13.
So,
Anyway, let's talk about another fight, unless if anybody else has anything to talk about. But
whatever.
I realized I accidentally skipped over a slide. That actually was fight number 3. This one,
Yo.
I don't
Okay.
know. I'm yeah, it was probably a
Okay.
PowerPoint issue, but yeah, we ended up almost accidentally skipping over this. But Claw Viper and Overhaul, one of the fights I was most looking forward to on this fight card, because we got a battle between two control bots, and one of them especially has really been looking like a possible dark horse for this season. Possible overlooked robot, that being Claw Viper. Not that Overhaul hasn't either, because Overhaul did win its first fight. So, yeah, I knew this one was going to come down to who can control the fight better and whether Overhaul could keep up with Claw Viper's insane speed this season. And we got a for the most part back and forth at least. But yeah, what's everyone's thoughts on this one?
This is a
Speed.
Base,
I
Banger.
love
base fight, 10 out of 10.
I love control versus control fights. Like these stuff is I'm always entertained when two bots that can just grab other robots just fight each other. It's like Vipers versus Overhaul. That fight always entertained me. It was like they're similar designs. I want to see how they do against each other.
Hmm. They should start calling Claw Viper, uh, Claw Claw McQueen Viper because he's like Lightning McQueen out there.
You were
Yo,
really looking for a
Lightning.
name.
I really
You
was.
were
I was
you
thinking
were
about it for a couple
you were
sec. I
digging
was
for
thinking about it
something.
for like a couple seconds while Google was talking. I couldn't think of anything. But regardless, he is speed Kachow. Um, so so fast.
But
It's nuts.
people saying that Claw Viper could potentially go 4-0 makes me like, huh, is this technically possible?
I mean,
Yeah.
any bot
I
could
want it to
technically
happen
go
so
4
badly.
0.
Yes, I agree. Rusty can go
True.
Blaze. Rusty can go 4-0. It's so
Technically,
standard.
any robot can go 4 0. Any robot could just, like, Claw Viper, for instance.
Yeah.
Yes, I
People,
also
honest.
I agree that they could
Exactly.
also go 4-0.
So,
What?
yeah,
I'm saying
this fight
theoretic.
was funny because Claw Viper Claw Viper Claw Viper struggled a little bit in this fight, which is funny because look at the if you like go back in time all the way to the before the season started, you'd say that Overhaul would probably be Claw Viper's easiest fight, and this has happened to be the one that Claw Viper struggled the most in. Overhaul got some ground game moments in it. It even got a suplex on Claw Viper. That was pretty cool. And yeah,
Oh, man, that's fine.
unfortunately, that failure to capitalize really just screwed Overhaul. Which I don't know if Overhaul would have still won that decision because Claw Viper was still doing really good in that fight. But there's a chance Overhaul does like get like a split decision in there does get a
Yeah.
if it does capitalize on that because that was a really detriment position for Claw Viper to be in.
Oh yeah. Well, anyway, I'll talk about this match now. Like said, great sportsmanship from Overhaul freeing Claw Viper when it got stuck in the kills laws at the beginning of the fight, and Yeah, I definitely will admit I felt this was
Blaze, I
this
will not
this
give
was
a
a much closer fight than what a lot of people were expecting, at least, especially since Overhaul almost certainly won damage in this fight with the fact that it looked like Claw Viper burned out a drive motor in that match and was likely what caused it to stop moving, at least, because I know there was a small plume of smoke that came out of Claw Viper in the backside, basically, which signals at that. But I think even if Overhaul did capitalize in that one moment where they flipped Claw Viper and then backed off a ways, I still think Claw Viper probably would have won the decision because Overhaul was just struggling to keep up with Claw Viper's speed for like the first 2 minutes of that match, and Overhaul did have some good moments, and well, it did have some good moments in those 2 minutes at least because Overhaul was definitely winning the ground game. I think there was no doubt that Claw Viper was stacking up the points, and I would probably say they were still winning that fight. But regardless, it was a great match, and glad to see a grappler bot going undefeated, and could be 4-0 if they win in that fight against Hypershock. And it should be interesting. Hopefully, Overhaul will bounce back, but they kind of have an interesting opponent for their round 3 match. So how about we talk about their next opponents at least? Where
No,
Claw
I
Viper,
wanna
where
have
Claw
Mantine
Viper,
pop off on
well,
the
we have Claw Viper have Hypershock, and then Overhaul is going to take on Cobalt.
Man, Overhaul.
We will
Okay,
not
so
talk about
I-
not talk about this fight until until Mantine pops off against Blaze real quick.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Dignity, please hold off on popping off. I'm gonna say my predictions.
Yeah, you
Ready?
got it.
Okay.
Claw Viper, Hypershock. That's probably a toss up. I'll do this. I'll do Overhaul versus Cobalt.
I think.
I mean, Overhaul. Why are you giving Cobalt? Why are you giving Overhaul Cobalt Battlebots?
This is
It
a
feels
random
like you're just.
match.
Is that even? I mean, oh yeah, it is a match. Yeah. Well, I mean, unless Overhaul, unless Cobalt's weapon completely dies and they get tipped over or something, this is just like a. This is an open and shut win for Cobalt, no question.
You know, it's such a weird matchup. You know, they're giving out like random rematches, like how Hydra goes against free shipping later this season. It's like so weird. Like, what's
Yeah.
the random rematches?
Oh yeah, that is technically a rematch because they did fight in 2016. It just was horizontal spinner Cobalt, not vertical spinner
Yeah.
Cobalt.
Yeah, it was carbide
It was-
cobalt rather than tungsten cobalt.
Yeah. I kind of like the rematches, to be honest. I do like a good rematch. It helps to show how much a robot's improved.
Oh yeah.
I like rematches when they make sense. You know, like with Doctor versus Tombstone and Mirage, that was pretty cool. But you know what
Yeah.
isn't cool? Random rematches like this one. Like, it's pretty one-sided.
Yeah.
Did not realize that
Well,
I was
like
talking for like 5 minutes.
All right, Mantine, what do you want to say to Blaze quick?
No, Blaze, you're a fucking idiot with Whiplash sucks.
Well, okay, but at least my favorite robot isn't winless.
My favorite robot is not winless. Quantum is actually 2-0, big man. So, you know, I hate to.
Yeah,
Wow,
oh,
you
wait a
hey,
minute.
to
Yeah.
burst your
boy,
bubble.
Wow.
Using your
I hate to
favorite
fucking
robot
kill you right
mid-season?
I hate to burst your
I'm
bubble,
afraid I'm
haters,
not.
but Quantum's winning the nut. Blaze, can I
Yeah.
ask, why do you
Hey,
think Whiplash is gonna win the nut, man?
I like Whiplash. I'm doing what
Why?
Corey
What
does.
is there to like about it?
Okay.
It's a fucking neon yellow highlighter
Just-
lifter, dog. The spinner doesn't even work this year.
That is true.
Just because you like a robot doesn't mean that robot is good.
You know, I'm just
Oh,
saying,
Okay.
Whiplash.
In the
I know, I
circumstance.
like.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know.
Whiplash-
I like Mammoth.
You know, I'm just saying, Whiplash was like my favorite robot when it was red. As soon as it turned neon, it all went downhill from there.
It's true.
On.
It's true. Everything went downhill as soon as it turned into a fucking Sharpie advertisement.
On me, it did. I hate neon Whiplash. I miss him so. I miss red Whiplash so much.
What are we talking about? Oh, Claw Viper
I don't
overall.
know.
Oh, the next
We're
fight.
talking about their next matchup, so how about we get on that topic now?
Okay, no, I got you.
Yeah.
Overhaul is 4-14. It fucking
No, Green,
sucks.
why
I have no
want-
idea why they gave it over
Green, why don't you
Cobalt.
want-
And Hypershock will probably own Claw Viper. I have no idea why either of these robots got Hypershock and Cobalt. Like these
Actually,
fucking
no.
Hypershock makes sense for Claw
Hypershock
Viper
makes
at least, but
No. Okay, so take into account that before this season, Claw Viper had done essentially nothing of note. Well, let me take a look at this here. What has Claw Viper done? Claw Viper beat Hijinks, okay, and it beat, pardon my French. And other than that, other than beating Defender, before this it was like fucking 2-6 or something like that. So them giving it Hypershock in advance makes no fucking sense.
I'd say it makes sense. Like they put up a heck of a fight against Black Dragon and Bloodsport last season. Like they made both those fights really competitive. I'm gonna say no to that one, Mantine. I'm sorry, Mantine. I'm gonna disagree with that.
Hypershock is a top tier robot. Claw Viper was mid at best.
Hypershock went like what two and not even it had it went was the semifinalist of the Golden Bolts. It destroyed Mad Catter, destroyed Gigabyte, it destroyed all these like god tier robots. Claw Viper shouldn't have gotten Hypershock of all boss. It should have been given it should have been given like a Lockjaw or something.
Okay, no, Sid, I 100% agree that Duck is a
Plus, also don't forget who Hypershock has fought prior to this point too. Sawblaze, Whiplash. They got an endgame fight coming soon. Like those are hard opponents. Like with how Battlebots is doing the system this year, like I fully expect they're gonna give them a lighter opponent like Claw Viper, even though Claw Viper is not really a lighter opponent anymore, at least based on how they performed this season.
Okay,
So
let me explain the logic behind this. Despite how records look, I will say Hypershock before Claw Viper came in was always known for being fast, speedy, and quick, right?
yes,
When Claw Viper came in,
Yeah.
it was
yeah, like that's
fast, speedy, quick.
That's the reason. That's the reason why I think they gave Claw Viper Ribot and Hypershock, because Ribot and Hypershock are two of the faster robots as well. So
I mean, in the
That's the
context,
idea here, because Hypershock was always known for being fast, quick, and now Claw Viper is known for being fast.
I mean, I
and
get they're
quick.
doing haha speed robots, and in the context of this season, it makes sense because Claw Viper is beaten two dog shit overrated ass robots, and now they're gonna get an actual fucking opponent, which is nice. But like, just from a standpoint of Claw Viper was 2-6 before this, and Hypershock is one of the top 5 robots in the entire series right now. I would say I don't know.
Yes, I agree.
Like
Hypershock is a top tier robot when it almost lost to Breaker Fox.
I wouldn't say well.
Yeah, that's what I said now.
If we're going to like current status, I wouldn't even say Hypershock's like a top 5 robot. I'd say the top 5 going into 2022. Yeah. I'd say the top 5 there were like Endgame, Sawblaze, Tantrum, Witch Doctor, and
Hydra.
Sure.
No, not Hydra. No, not Hydra.
Hell no.
Hydra, no. Hydra's not.
Yeah,
Hydra barely even makes it.
I agree.
Honestly.
Hydra's not top 5.
I'm gonna kick y'all off this topic, and I'm gonna talk about these next two fights. We need to stop getting off topic here. So, Claw Viper, Hypershock. I'm leaning towards Hypershock on that one. I would absolutely love to see Claw Viper go 4-0 on this one, but I really think that Hypershock is going to be one of those robots that can actually keep up with Claw Viper's speed, just because Hypershock is also a really fast robot. And I think Hypershock's ability to do damage, I think is going to be very key in this one. Kevin's definitely going to need to be on his A game with driving and try to avoid Hypershock's weapon as much as possible, because if Wheelbale starts determining the pace of this match, like how he's won so many of his other fights, he's going to clobber Claw Viper, basically, and that's kind of what I'm predicting how this fight's going to go. Now, Overhaul Cobalt, gosh, that is a hard opponent for Overhaul. Like, Overhaul started seeing a little bit more success, at least, with the fact that they got a reasonable victory over Starchild, and then they did well against Black Dragon last season, and they did pretty well in this fight, too. But, man, that is... Cobalt is not but probably one of the hardest opponents that Battlebots could have given Overhaul, in my opinion, and I think we're likely going to see an absolute bloodbath from Cobalt at least in this one. So
Yeah, yeah, I agree. It's not a close match at all. Overhaul is absolutely gonna dominate. Copperhead,
Overhaul's
I
gonna get
agree.
fucking owned. I have no idea
Yeah,
why they picked
exactly.
up off
Overhaul is
Overhaul.
gonna completely dominate the fight. Like I swear, we're gonna get like an entire out of the arena sequence fight with Overhaul. It's not even close.
we haven't even seen it out of the arena yet, which is kind of crazy. But
Because there's door. There's
No,
like
no, no. It's fair. It's fair because of how they made the
oh yeah,
arena. Like,
no,
oh
but
yeah,
yeah, they made it
I
like
haven't seen much.
very,
Like
very big.
they put doors where the Uda zones are. Like it's higher now.
Yeah.
It's not as easy to do it anymore.
Which on
Alright,
it, which
boys.
makes sense because of safety.
If you ever say
All right.
Whiplash is gonna win the nut again, I'm gonna fucking backhand you. I'm gonna peace out, guys. Alright, have a good one.
Wolfish is gonna win the giant nut.
No, no, no,
all
no.
right. Let's move on to the
Don't
next
bait
fight
him.
then. So
You're
yeah,
gonna win.
all right, next fight. So Mammoth and Star Child, another battle of the big boys.
Nice start.
So
Oh,
yeah, we got
I mean,
this one was kind of this one was this I like this fight. Shut up, Blaze. Yeah, I like this fight. Like we got
Oh
a
my god.
battle of the big boys once again. Some pretty funny moments, including an untelevised unstick, which is pretty fun. Which is pretty funny to hear about and yeah, and see. We didn't get to see the actual unstick, but we got to see how they got stuck together, and it was probably the funniest moment of the episode, in my opinion. And it's nice to see Mammoth bounce back after that disappointing match against Valkyrie, in my opinion, and see them actually do pretty well in this fight and get a victory by judge's decision too. So, yeah, I'll leave the floor to y'all. So, Blaze, I know you wanted to start, so go for it.
yo, best fight of the night.
Fair.
100%. No, no, it's not. It's not the best fight of the night. It's just my favorite.
Yeah, that's exactly what you know. Both Blaze, you're the type of person to say Mammoth is gonna beat Endgame. Like
Well, exactly. It will.
But you're the type of person to say like it would against like the best robot in the world just because it can.
Well, it will. Well, exactly. Because it will.
Okay, but what if Mammoth fought Whiplash? You're kind of like a hard spot here now, right?
Well, Mammoth will beat Whiplash.
Oh wow, okay. Mammoth beating your favorite.
I don't
robot?
think you understand the.
Darren, you want to talk? Darren, you want to talk about this
Yeah.
match before I kick Blaze out of this VC?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
This was an interesting fight. First of all, why do they keep giving Star Child big opponents? It's supposed to fight the meta. That's what it's good at in like its own weight class, middleweight. It fights like drum spinners. It's kind of designed to fight low four-wheel drive verts, which is so why are they giving it like big boys? You can't really hit Mammoth because Star Child's weapon to be kind of effective, its opponent has to kind of fit between the wheels so it can swing over, bang, you know. So I admit I picked Star Child on kind of because I thought spinner equal damage equal yay, but I kind of completely forgot the everything else. I will say a funny moment about this fight was actually after the fight where Chris mispronounced Anna's last name, who was the guest commentator, as Anna Zelinsky instead of Anna
Yeah.
Zolnikov. I am so
That was
happy they
hilarious.
kept that in.
It was also interesting that they hadn't referenced that Ripperoni and Star Child are made by the same team this season, and
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
true.
Even showed NHRL footage. That was
Yeah.
awesome.
that too.
That was cool. Yeah.
He did, yeah.
They're acknowledging other than just in other local events, other than just saying that they've actually like name dropped NHRL, which is dope.
Clueless BattleBots fans when they realize BattleBots isn't the only overall company.
What? You're telling me there's more?
You're telling me that BattleBots is not the only one?
What?
Yep. All right. Anybody else got anything really to talk about this one, or should we talk about their next opponents?
Gonna win the giant nut, boys.
No.
No.
All right. Let's talk about their next opponents. So
I don't wait. No, I was saying no to
Oh.
Mammoth winning the giant nut.
Yeah,
I will
Okay,
just
I
say
have a
I feel
question.
like it's very
Which is
hard
more
to.
reasonable?
BBN, the
Okay,
floor is yours.
What I was going to say is that I mean, I love the concept of Star Child. Like the essence of it being like Gabriel 2, just more aggressive with the spinner instead of just the thwack hammer thing. But I think it's very hard to scale up, and like it's not the types of opponents it's supposed to fight uh like some other people said earlier.
Yeah.
I like with all the rookies, I just want to see it do better. Like I want to see Horizon do better. I want to see Star Child do better. Because I mean, groundbreaking breaking design is here. It just needs to like be proven for it to work. I mean, I don't know how long it takes, but I think I hope that Star Child gets better.
Yeah.
That is my hope and prayer.
Yeah, something I didn't mention earlier, at least, that I should mention right here. Starchild actually did do a lot more damage than a lot of us thought, I think, based on post-fight damage photos I've seen, because there was actually quite a bit of tubing and damage done to Mammoth in this fight, but I kind of wonder if Starchild might have been having teething problems or something like that in this fight, because I feel like they definitely did. They did probably about as much damage to start to Mammoth structure is what Hughes was able to do back when they fought Mammoth a while back. And, like, yeah. Fortunately, at least we got some moments from Starchild, but, like, the judges definitely got this decision right. So, yeah, let's talk about their next opponents. So, Mammoth is going to take on Death Roll, which is a hard opponent for it. And then Starchild, who's got Gigabyte, but we already talked about that one. So we're just going to talk about Mammoth Death Roll. So what are our thoughts on that one?
I
I'm
I
gonna. I
think
have to.
this fight. Oh, you go first. You go first.
Okay, so I don't want to sound like Blaze here, but hear me out. I think Mammoth actually has somewhat of a shot to beat Deathloop. Because you see here, Deathloop doesn't really have a lot, like, he always gets, like, pushed around, always, like, is a very jumpy robot. It always just bounces around everywhere. And, I think Mammoth could actually take advantage of that. They could push it, and it could, like, bounce around everywhere, and Mammoth can take advantage of that.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of like my takes on this is like that Death Roll's Mammoth's drive, Ricky Williams' driving is going to need to be perfect for this fight because if Death Roll gets to the side, to the back side of Mammoth, it's going to be lights out for Mammoth in an instant right there because I imagine, like, while Star Child wasn't able to get through some of that structure, as for what it seems like, Death Roll, I think, definitely would if that vertical spinner starts connecting on some of that stuff right there. However, though, Mammoth is very well known for just absolutely coming out of nowhere when it comes to taking on some of the big opponents it's fought so far. Take, like, Huge and Copperhead, for example. This definitely could be one of those moments right there where we could just see Mammoth absolutely come out of nowhere and manage to win this fight that way. And which I think they definitely could, because like Google said, if Mammoth could keep the front towards Death Roll, they could possibly control the match with the lifter, just on the fact that Death Roll, well, Mammoth doesn't either. Death Roll doesn't have a lot of ground game either. Death Roll is one of those reach robots. They go for reach rather than ground game, at least when taking on their opponents. And that's something Mammoth definitely could take advantage of, but they gotta time their shots right and get the lifts they need to keep Death Roll off balance. So, alright, who else wants to talk about Mammoth Death Roll? Derin, go ahead.
I honestly think this is probably going to be very similar to the 2019 fight of Uppercut versus Mammoth, where I just think Death Roll's a bit more maneuverable than Mammoth, and will be able to get around to the
I would
sides
agree.
easier. And even if Mammoth does manage to forward Death Roll just pop back over, and it'll be bouncing around too much for Mammoth to really capitalize, I think.
That is
And Death
true.
Roll
I
will
feel like.
recover and come in from the side, and just bang. And I think it'll be. I think Death Roll has this. I'm pretty confident in him.
It's just that like Defo doesn't have much ground clearance. It's always like there's that front side that has like basically no force on the front. It's basically just
Yeah.
flat.
Yeah.
Like it's not like Copperhead where Copperhead has ground game. It's just that like Defo has nothing. He has nothing there.
Well, does Death Roll really need ground game in this fight.
Oh yeah, because like what lots of us have said already, Death Roll goes for reach, not ground game, at least.
Mhm.
So
Which
He
I
doesn't
can
need the ground.
like I personally think it doesn't need ground game to win this fight. Plus, don't forget Mammoth doesn't even. I wouldn't consider Mammoth as much of a ground game robot either. Like I know they definitely do go for it because they technically have forks on the front, but like they don't really go for ground clearance as much as like other robots do. And I think the reach game could
Yeah.
definitely help Death Roll in this fight. So,
Reach.
well, Blaze, if you're there, you want to talk about Death Roll Mammoth?
It is his favorite robot.
So he'll pick Death Roll, and naturally, obviously.
Yeah, Blaze. You know, if Blaze, if you don't respond, you're predicting Death Roll's gonna win.
Damn.
Yeah, if you don't respond in 5 seconds.
Death Roll, you think Death Roll's gonna win?
The principal's office and half the next battle.
Oh my God, no way! Blaze actually predicts Death Roll, guys.
Damn. Well, anything else about this one, or should we move on to the next fight? Alright, Copperhead and Triton, and gotta say, this fight kind of went a combination of how I expected it and how I wouldn't expect it to go. Because, like, on one hand, I thought this fight was going to be a quick knockout. We got that.
Yeah,
I didn't think this was going to be a double KO.
yeah, you-
And that was
Yeah.
really hilarious, the way that Triton managed to cause a double KO to occur in this one, even though it probably wasn't on purpose, but it was still funny regardless, so, yeah.
You see, this wasn't
This
this
was a
wasn't a
good-
fast KO. This was a fast judge's decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fastest fight to go to a judge's decision in Battlebots history or something.
You know, I think this thing is with this fight is that like I like to imagine the Triton intentionally put one of its batteries on the Copperhead to fight it. Like that's what I.
Yeah.
It's not true. I just like to imagine that to be like like it makes it funnier that way. They're like, oh yeah,
Yeah, like-
the driver of Triton is so petty that they put a battery underneath it so it gets a double KO.
Yeah. Derin, you had other stuff you want to talk about this? Go right ahead.
I have to say, I tried. This was actually pretty even up until that last hit. Like, Triton was spinning up well, was getting some good shots on Copperhead. Copperhead was getting some shots on the bar. They were surviving the hits, I have to say. Like, Triton was trying to get around, hit the wheels. Copperhead was trying to avoid letting them do that. And Triton just oversteered or just skidded like just once, and then it got clipped in the back and caused it to have an explosive something or other all over the arena. But up till that point, it was actually a pretty even fight, I have to say.
I will say that Copperhead's looking amazing going into this next fight, especially like you know how in
Yeah.
2020 like you have like an extremely fast knockout. The issue I have with Copperhead now is that I feel like it needs a longer fight for me to truly believe in it. Like I was a true Copperhead believer after the Black Dragon fight, but now I need more. I need more data. I need more data on Copperhead. It's just too quick.
This might be
Yeah.
the biggest bro moment in Battlebots history.
It honestly could be. Alright, but yeah, this fight, very quick at least. Sadly, I don't think we've still seen Triton at 100% yet. Because, like, it still hasn't been landing the shots that we know that, like, Deep Six has been able to land, at least in the past. Don't know if that's, like, just a design flaw within Triton, or if there's more to it than that exactly. Because and also I think the driving possibly could have been a little better on Triton's end. But I think that's another one, like several other driving cases, where it's a new robot, a new driver, at least with a new robot plus driver combo at least. And because like I see what they were going for at least with their driving tactics with this, but Luke countered a lot of those really well in this one. Managed to land some pretty big shots, and like I would probably say this one was a bit more one-sided than what others have said so far. At least that's just my opinion. But but it was really funny to see Triton pop open like a pinata right there and have his internals go
It was
everywhere.
hilarious.
And then Copperhead just getting stuck on one of the pieces of debris basically. And then seeing a lipo fire happening in the background. So
something funny about this fight that isn't even in the fight. So I go on this video, right, of this fight, right? Some poor soul out there thinks that this Triton is actually Tombstone, that this is some recreation of Tombstone. Like I saw this one dude, it was
It is,
that
man.
Triton was
It's going all
Tombstone
the
because
way.
of the new version of Tombstone. Some poor soul thinks that. Like I found it pretty funny.
yeah.
Well, I mean, in a way, it is kind of a spiritual successor to Tombstone and Deep Six.
Yeah, it's kind of like a combination of each, but
Best of both worlds.
Anyways, I will say I heard everything that you guys were talking about. I just got mad and I needed to take a break from you
it's
guys.
fun.
And I will say that unironically, I do think Death Row will beat Mammoth. But it doesn't matter because I would get draft points anyways.
Fair.
Okay, wow.
I don't know what that means. Good for you.
Dippy egg draft.
Yep, Dippy Egg draft, but yeah, so it was nice to see another KO by Copperhead, and yeah,
Triton got
Copperhead
robbed.
literally Copperhead definitely it's been a little quick so far. We haven't seen that big of a test from Copperhead so far. Or hopefully we'll get to see a bit of a longer fight within one of their next two matchups because we know they got Kraken for their next one. We'll talk about Kraken in a little bit, at least as for their second fight, which happened in this episode. And I don't remember who their fourth opponent is, but
First opponent is Ripperoni, if I recall correctly.
Triton may have gotten robbed
Ripperoni.
this time, but Triton's still going 2-2. Don't worry, gaming.
So I have a
What
very
was
bold
Triton's
prediction
opponent?
to say here. I think Triton is gonna easily win against Glitch.
No. Well, maybe.
Based.
yeah, we'll go ahead and talk about their next fights. Copperhead's got Kraken, Triton has Glitch. Google, keep going.
So as you unlike most here, I will indeed give elaboration to why Triton will win against Glitch. You see, Glitch doesn't drive very well, and it
Glitch
still
sucks.
has big driver issues. You know what they can do? They can get that backside, and I don't think Triton is good. Like how Triton driven was driven very well in this fight. You can see more maneuverability. I think it can maneuver to the backside if like Glitch has if Glitch has a glitched drive in the fight. Like, I think they can actually win this one. Like I believe in them.
It's a fair point.
Yeah, Glitch sucks. Triton's probably
Yeah,
gonna win.
Yeah,
Glitch
Triton
sucks.
versus Glitch.
Glitch, Glitch has like a bug or something like that that makes it drive horrible.
So the thing also to consider there is that we've actually never seen Glitch fight a horizontal. Well, Rotator, yes, but let's be honest, Rotator doesn't count. It was kind of just like a one-hit wonder type of thing. Like,
Yeah.
Rotator doesn't count.
retrograde counts more as a horizontal fight against. And even then, retrograde should have won. So L and
Did
then
Retrograde even use the horizontal
Hey,
center in that?
Yes,
I forgot.
quite a bit too.
Yeah.
I
but
swear, like retrograde. Actually, here's the thing. Like I think Triton has like a very good chance, and even if it doesn't go to the side, I feel like Glitch would still like suffer in this fight. Like if it gets
well, I'll be fair here and say that in a weapon-on-weapon collision, I think Glitch probably wins that because Glitch
Yeah.
has been shown to bend some of the weaponry. Like it bent Rotator's weapon, and then that's what killed it. So I think Triton's driver does have to be a bit careful here. But if it's like side shots and flanks, then I think Triton wins. But other than that, then no, they're fucked.
So the one thing I'm worried about is they're gonna get a hit like Rotator, where it's like weapon plus like the side, and that's absolutely gonna destroy them. But I still have hope that Triton's gonna drive perfectly well, that doesn't have any issues. But I'm scared I'm scared if they're not gonna have like everything ironed out, because you know how much damage they just took. So I mean I'm still praying to the gods that Triton's going like 2-2 at least.
Yeah.
Wait, what is Triton's fight after Glitch?
Horizon.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, so Ateli's going 1-3.
No, it's going 2-2. It's winning against
I said at
Copperhead.
least going 1-3.
No, I'm a.
Irrelevant. Copperhead versus who's Copperhead's third fight? Kraken.
I know.
All right. Well,
And
I'm actually a time.
man,
I don't think we
win
need
for
to explain
Copperhead.
why
Okay,
Copperhead wins
well, if you
that.
didn't know, I'm actually a time traveler from the year 2024, and I can actually confirm that Triton goes 2-2, makes the tournament, wins the giant nut, and is number one seed in the new season.
Green, Green. This is
If
my
I fail my exams,
Yes.
Green. This is my
aw.
request. My request is that you let me speak first on Kraken versus Lucky.
All right, that's fair. But
Uh,
yeah, I'm gonna share my
Okay,
opinions
fine.
on these two matchups. Then Copperhead and Kraken. I think Copperhead's gonna dominate that one, and I'm personally predicting another quick knockout for Copperhead because Kraken definitely has. Kraken's weapon has seemed to be fine, but the drive has not been fine for Kraken. They're still figuring out issues there, but we'll talk about what's going on within their drive when we talk about Kraken versus Lucky. But yeah, I'm expecting a KO for Copperhead on that one. Not sure if I'd say it'd be as quick as their two KOs so far, but I think it's going to be a brutal one. Triton and Glitch. I'm probably going to go Glitch on this one, but that's a hard one to predict because we haven't seen Glitch's second fight yet. It's coming next episode where they fight Lockjaw. But
Yeah.
yeah, I do think Triton has the advantage on the fact that Glitch seems to still be having the drive problems that they were having from last season. Just struggles with like traction and stuff like that. And I think that's something Triton could definitely take advantage of. And I think that's something where Triton's going to need to get that spin up to speed and aim for something that's not the weapon of Glitch, basically. Because I think that's going to be Triton's only shot of like winning that fight is if they can avoid Glitch's spinner. Because Triton has definitely proven, at least, especially, I think this fight definitely exposed the concern I had for it that like it's not that well armored, and I don't think the structure around that weapon is exactly that powerful. And so I think if Glitch gets a huge hit or two, I think that could be the end of Triton pretty quickly. But I hope Triton pulls it off because like I want to see Triton deliver the big hits Deep Six did, but it just hasn't been there for me yet. And I kind of how I'm predicting this fight's going to go down. I think Triton's going to get a shot or two at the beginning of it, but then I think we're going to see a weapon on weapon shot and maybe an armor shot on Triton. But I think that's going to something like that. I think Glitch is going to win by KO. So.
Triton does have the added advantage of being able to move, unlike Glitch, which is a pretty big,
Yes.
point in its favor. Genuinely though, uh, the only fight we've seen of Glitch is against Riptide, and it didn't really show that it could move straight particularly. It just kind of strafed around, and I don't think that the slow strafing that Glitch has shown us thus far is going to be able to do anything with Triton. Triton's really quick. It's weird how quick it is, and I think it can very much use that as an advantage in this fight very easily. If they can get I'm not sure. I think they've been having weapon issues of some kind in these last couple fights. Something about the clutch or something. I think I heard, or they didn't tighten the belts. No, I can't remember what it was, but I don't think this is full potential Triton that we've
Oh
seen
yeah,
thus
I
far.
agree.
No,
I don't know if it'll be sometime later this season that Triton will get cooking like it really has been, like we've seen Deep Six cook. But I think at one point, sometime soon, we'll see that full potential Triton, and we'll finally get that big horizontal offset that Tombstone, was and isn't right now. Maybe they'll come back though. I don't know. But I think that Triton's going to be able to probably get some side shots on Glitch because we did see that they had some trouble controlling their quick maneuverability in the Copperhead fight, but I don't really think that Glitch is going to be able to capitalize on those mistakes like Copperhead did, and I think that Triton will end up getting some sort of killing shot with all the
Yeah.
Glitch troubles that they've been having.
Of course, it will depend on how well Glitch rebounds, because Glitch does have a fight coming in the next episode, and that could
Sure.
definitely change my prediction, at least, depending on how that fight with Lockjaw goes. So,
Sure.
uh,
kill yourself on Glitch.
Yeah.
Block
will
shot
say,
mode coming up, boys.
um,
All right. Anybody else got something to say about these two matchups?
yes.
Okay.
Can I go? Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
So
you go.
Copperhead, the thing is, the way Copperhead season is currently going kind of reminds me of their, I think, 2020 run, or was it their 2021 run? Where they faced where they had a bunch of really quick fights in their qualifying rounds, like really quick KOs, and then when they were started to be tested for like longer duration fights, they struggled a bit. And that's kind of happening here, where their first two wins were by really quick knockout. You haven't really seen can they survive longer than like a minute, because I think all their fights haven't lasted longer than like 30 seconds. So we don't know
I
if they
believe
can
this is
survive an entire match. So this next fight might be a lot closer than people are thinking.
It could be.
Kraken, Kraken, I think I saw heard in a podcast that about after their next this fight with Lucky, they fixed up their drive and the robot was starting to drive a lot more properly. So
Hopefully
might be a
that's
lot more than
true.
people think.
Because yeah,
It's
they'll
still a tough
def.
matchup though either way.
Oh yeah,
It
I
is.
do agree that I think that if Kraken does have the drive issues figured out, that they'll definitely make that fight with Copperhead a little more competitive. So, which I think is the point you're getting at there. So, uh, Blaze, you go right ahead.
Copperhead, uh, Bracken, right?
Both of
Sorry,
them.
I haven't been paying as much attention as I normally do to these things. But that fight's probably Copperhead's to win, or is it to? I forgot what the saying is. Is it Copperhead when someone's normally like supposed to win is their fight to win, right? That's how the saying goes.
Something like that. I don't know.
What are you talking about?
Do you not know the saying? Uh,
Yo, I would know if you would give better elaboration.
do you not know
True.
like it's their fight to win, their fight to lose? That saying.
Nobody knows that saying.
Yeah.
I know
Don't.
that saying. No, I know
Yeah.
that
You're making
Probably
it really
live.
it's
bad
like a heavy favorite coming into the fight. Well, it's their fight like
to
to
lose.
lose to
Yeah.
lose.
That I know.
Like they have to
Yeah.
actively
That's
lose it.
okay. That's what I was asking. Thank you.
Yes.
It's their fight to lose. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. That's
That
what I was trying to say.
that's what they said in like the glitch versus glitch type fight. They're like everyone in the pit says it's glitch's fight to lose. Oh, they lost. So I mean, yeah, they did lose. It was the fight
Well,
where they lost.
Fair.
but personally, I think that Copperhead is probably going to beat Kraken. Though I would love to see Kraken beat
I
Copperhead because
wouldn't.
it would
I
be
wouldn't.
very funny.
Would
I
not.
wouldn't, but
Well,
Kraken
you know
has
what? Well, you
Kraken,
know what?
Kraken has
Ziv,
Zaza.
Zaza. Zaza.
Whatever.
sorry, we were talking about Kraken. I can't mention. Can I not mention Zaza when talking about Kraken?
Oh, because that's irrelevant.
Zaza? Well, that's true. He is an Uda mod, so.
Well, anyway, anything else to talk about or
Anyways, what was the other fight?
Triton and Glitch?
Triton. Well, 3 draft points for Glitch. Okay, but no, that fight's a lot more even than it's on paper. Just based on how both robots have been, like, I don't think I can realistically predict this fight until I see Glitch fight again because their first fight was like what 8 seconds long until the knockout
Yeah, something
hit.
like that. But it's a fair point.
So yeah.
All right, let's go
Um,
ahead and move on to the next one.
next one.
All right, Kraken and Lucky. So,
I got
Civ, you want to start it off? Go for it.
Emerson went 0-2.
I love you so much,
Are
Nick.
you like mocking Mantine or something?
No, I'm mocking
Yeah,
Kraken.
man.
I'm mocking all the hammer saws in the world. We got a Canada W. and a hammer saw L at the same fight, baby. That's what we live for. That's what we
Wait,
live
it's
to
still like
see.
Canada? Oh my goodness,
Well,
that's crazy.
in
Minnesota is American Canada. Or wait, no, Canada.
What?
Wait,
What?
what came first,
What are
Minnesota
you
or
talking
Canada?
about?
Yeah,
What are
I was
you
gonna say, what are
saying?
you even talking about? Like, how about somebody else talk about this fight then?
But
Okay,
yes,
so
winless hammer saw W.
no, but like I here's okay. Let me say something right now. I love Lucky. Lucky's like one of my favorite robots of all time, and I'm so happy that it's unbeaten. Literally, I felt so bad for Lucky. But like once he got into the tournament, I made a meme. I'm trying to find it right now, but it was like, "Babe, wake up, Lucky's 2-1," which I remember making that. but then, but yeah, I'm just happy that it's unbeaten. So maybe I'll make a meme. Okay, once Lucky goes 4-0, because we all know it is gonna go 4-0. I'm just gonna say, "Babe, wake up, Lucky's 4-0," because we all know it's gonna be 4-0.
Yeah, they do have a fight with Cobalt coming,
Which
so we'll
Lucky's gonna
find it.
dominate. Like one single flip, boom, instant KO. Like that's a 3 seconds fight right there.
Don't know if I'd say exactly that, but I respect the take. Like Lucky's definitely been looking good this year, and without a
I
doubt.
mean, okay. I have a counterpoint. Both of Lucky's opponents were struggling to really do anything to Lucky this year, so
Uh,
realistically, it's not Lucky. It wasn't. It's not Lucky doing good. It's opponents. It's not. Its
I
opponents
think
aren't
it's
what are
doing
you
the
smoking,
best.
bro?
Yeah.
drivers. Okay, the
BBBN
driver,
crack.
the driver's been killing it
The
this
driver
season.
No,
is
the
definitely
BBBN sticks, but
improved. The driver
So
you're
you're
speaking
okay. So you're
bullshit,
telling
dude.
me that Lucky's past couple fights, such as like Tantrum, where like dominated the first part of the fight. You're telling me that like Tantrum didn't drive well?
Who said I'm talking about these fights? I'm
And
talking about
maybe,
this season.
maybe
I specified this season.
So okay, so this season, what was Lucky's first fight, real quick? I need a refresher.
It was
Triton.
Triton, and
Triton.
then Kraken. So
Triton.
So was Triton
They're both robots were really struggling to do realistically anything. And
Oh shit.
realistically, Triton couldn't really do anything to Lucky, who's probably I would say the most defensive bot when it comes to horizontals at the moment. Maybe Scorpios as well. I don't know.
yeah. I mean, yeah, Lucky
But
has
I don't
like.
know.
See, here's the thing with Lucky.
like
Like,
and then like Kraken definitely Kraken should be 1-1,
what?
but like
How should
what?
what? How should it be 1-1? What is
Personally, I thought it won the its first fight. That's why.
no, it didn't.
well, anyway, I'm gonna
Oh, I
talk.
said it first and yeah, thank you,
Can
Green.
I say
I'm
something real quick? Can I
go
say
for
something
it.
real quick? Blaze, I mean, you may have just struck a nerve with the football like fan in me because I'm an Eagles fan. The entire, the entire fuck. I'm sick of this fucking argument of like robots or football teams that like a robot still did good. Like Lucky performed objectively good. Like performed objectively good. No matter what the opponent is, if your robot looks like performs objectively good, then like that constitutes a good robot. You can't say,
Yeah.
"Oh, that win doesn't count"
I'm not
because they
saying
didn't
that they're a bad
beat
robot. I'm
Mantine.
saying that I need them
No,
to fight
no
an
one
opponent
said
that can actually
that
do
you
some
said
that
they were
can
a bad
actually
robot.
fight them.
But it still looked really good, and I think
I don't
it
think
could
I'm
he's.
not.
Oh, wait, I don't think he's
do
saying
well.
that Lucky's looking bad. I think he's just saying it's not as proven as other
Yeah, like
robots.
I think where Blaze is going is like the strength of schedule just hasn't been there, at least for Lucky yet. At
What?
least like it's looked great this year, and which is something that I was going to talk about at least at the first part of this. But then, yeah, like both their opponents so far just haven't been at 100%, which is what Blaze is talking about. Like it's not like that can really constitute against Lucky because like it definitely has looked great this year,
Yeah,
regardless.
like
Though,
Lucky is
so.
still looking amazing right now. It's not like I feel like it kind of like I feel like Blaze is a little undermining like Lucky here because Lucky still looks fantastic going into its next fight. What is its next? Oh, Shredder Bro,
Shred it,
right?
bro. And
Credit.
then Cobalt.
I mean,
So
it's winning against Mobot every
Cobalt's
fight.
realistically the only bot that can probably actually do that can actually do something to Lucky this season.
Yeah.
just because every single one of its opponents has been lackluster in a way. And I'm not saying Lucky's doing bad because Lucky's doing great. It just hasn't proven itself to me yet, just because its opponents really realistically haven't really done anything to Lucky.
Yeah. But yeah, kind of like my
They're
take.
misconstruing that.
My takes on this thing. Yeah, sad what happened to Kraken. Basically, it looks like Kraken tried using bike treads for this one, according to their damage report posted on Facebook, and apparently those things got shredded very early on, and one side drive ended up locking up so early in the fight, which is why we saw them have one side drive for nearly the entirety of that match. But yeah, I give so much credit to Matt Olson. This was second fight in a row where he was an absolute madman behind the controls so far. Two perfect driving performances from him to not just land some good shots on Kraken, but just avoid that spinner entirely. And lots of upper deck usage in this one, and it was great to see. So, great to see Lucky have quite a bit of success here, and hopefully they can keep that success when they take on Shreddit Bro for their next one, which I'm not sure how far away that is, but I know Shreddit Bro has a second fight coming very soon, that fight with Ominous. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll get a test to see whether Shreddit Bro managed to figure out their drive problems that they had in their fight with Horizon or not. So,
I think the I think
go ahead, Derin.
I will quickly say, I think most of the drive issues that Kraken's been having up to now are because they're using the Vesk speed controllers, like a new update,
Yeah.
and most teams are using these new Vesks, and it turns out there's like some kind of them that no one knew about at the time, and everyone was kind of discovering it at the same time, and everyone was trying to get their Vest to work all at the same time. So that explains why a number of robots had drive issues, like Shreddit Bro and Kraken. They were trying to get their Vest to work properly. I think Matt said somewhere that they spent like the next like 2 days after their previous fight trying to get the robot to drive properly and couldn't get it to do that before this fight happened. They got it fixed after, I think, but it's just really
Absolutely.
unfortunate,
Well,
you know.
the seven
hopefully.
fight Kraken losing streak is crazy. Yes, it is in fact seven because you got 4 in 2021, right? You got 2 here, and then he lost against Rusty in 2020, so that's 7.
Okay.
Also add Gruff to that.
Oh yeah, that's right, Gruff. So 8, 8 fight losing streak.
8 fight losing streak.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Hopefully we get to see a bounce back from Kraken, because like I love the new concepts behind Kraken,
I
even
know.
if there are some people here that don't like it. And
I-
hopefully they did figure out the drive problems, like what Darren mentioned, because like I think if they figure out the drive problems at least, that'll definitely make their fight with Copperhead a bit more competitive, and that's probably their biggest opponent so far. Argument You could absolutely make the argument that Vita is kind of a tougher opponent for Kraken, but regardless, though, yeah, let's talk about their next opponents. We already talked about Kraken and Copperhead. And Lucky's got Shreddit Bro for its next one, which is a little bit of a hard call because we haven't seen Shreddit Bro's second fight yet. It will be coming, I believe, not next episode, but the following episode, I think. So
Yeah, episode 10.
I don't know which one, but
Fight. What was their second fight again?
their second fight is ominous. So,
With him.
Oh, okay. So
but yeah, what's everyone's takes on Lucky and Shreddit Bro?
That seems like an easy.
no, I don't like this matchup just because of how it's like. Yes, we haven't seen Stripe Bro's second fight, but the first fight they barely won, and in my opinion, like the only reason realistically why they won is because they got more hits off on Horizon than
Got
Horizon.
that like one juicy hit.
They sucked less. They sucked
Shredder
less.
Bro versus
That's-
Horizon is literally just Pain Train versus me. It is literally the exact same
I
fight.
think it's a worse version of Pain Train versus me, honestly.
Both are equally bad.
I don't
Both
know.
are terrible. Yeah. no offense to the teams, obviously, but that was just not that great of a fight. And then I just personally, I think this is going to be another easy Lucky dub. Which I mean, yes, go Canada, but
Canada.
like I want to see Lucky fight a robot that like can actually like challenge it. Like I'm glad that it has Cobalt as its fourth fight because that's going to be a challenge. What? Did
What?
someone say
Nobody said
what?
anything.
Oh, I thought I heard someone say what.
Keep going, brother.
Okay, but like I'm glad that they have Cobalt as their fourth opponent, so that way I can actually like see like okay, can Lucky actually like hold up to all the hype, or is like because I hope they do personally because Canada. I mean I Canada, but realistically, Lucky probably dominates this fight. Sorry, Corey, but yeah,
All right, who wants to talk about it next?
So I'll go first or next. So Lucky versus Shred It Bro. I'll get to make fun of Pori, which is always a W. And then there is something I actually forgot to mention about Kraken versus Copperhead that I want to mention here. I forgot to mention it. So if the Copperhead team is looking for any last minute gift ideas for me, I have one. I'd like Frank Shirley, my boss, to right here tonight. I want him brought from his happy holiday slumber over there on Melody Lane with all the other rich people, and I want him right here with a big ribbon on his head, and I want to look him straight in the eye, and I want to tell him what a cheap, lying, no good, rotten, floor-flushing, low-life, snake-licking, dirt-eating, inbred, overstuffed, ignorant, blood-sucking, dog-kissing, brainless, dickless, hopeless, heartless,
No!
bug-eyed, stiff-legged, spotty-lipped, warm-headed sack of monkey. He is.
Siv, let him live, let him live, let him
Holy shit.
let him live.
Where's the
Let him live.
Where's the Tylenol?
Oh,
Stop
gosh.
describing yourself. Jesus Christ.
Oh wow.
Let him live, let him live, Siv.
Let
Let
me
him
cook.
live.
Let me cook.
Let him cook. Let Civ cook.
I am letting him cook. I'm
Why,
just
though?
asking him to let him live.
No, you're not. You're stopping him from cooking. I don't appreciate that.
Civ, I bet you $1 million you go to the mirror and say those exact things.
From a movie, guys. Calm down. Have none of you all watched what's that one Christmas movie called? I forgot it.
You don't even remember the name of the movie. That's funny.
It's very good. It's very
Yeah.
I don't know. Grant's gonna get copyright strike.
I enjoyed the reference of a movie quoting a movie.
Well, anyway, I'm going to share my prediction on this then, and since I don't think anyone else wants to, as for this one, as of right now, I'm picking Lucky for this fight, but I'm not going to count out Shred It Bro, because, like, Shred It Bro definitely seemed to have drive problems, and hopefully they got them sorted out. We'll see whether that's the case when they fight Ominous next, but cannot ignore that Shred It Bro's drum spinner hits hard, without a doubt, and I definitely could see them landing some huge punches on Lucky and possibly bending the front upwards a bit, making it harder for Lucky to use the flipper right now. But we haven't seen much from Shred It Bro, or at least as for what I'm talking about right there. Hopefully we'll get to see more out of it from their fight with Ominous, but which is why right now I'm going to be picking Lucky. But that could change whenever we do that episode review with the Shred It Bro Ominous fight, so...
That's crazy.
Alright, let's go ahead and move on to the main event.
National Lampoon's Christmas
Best fight
Vacation
of
is
the-
what it
best
was
fight of the
from.
season.
Yeah.
Oh my god, how much? We're gonna say a lot about this fight. I'm just.
Okay.
That was the best fight of the
Oh!
season.
Alright, main event of the season, and my predicted champ is 3-0 this year so far.
You're
So,
also
yeah.
a sin.
So,
Well,
Guys, you guys.
This was just good. This is a good fight.
oh yeah. So
No,
this
great
was
fight.
this was a rematch of one of my favorite fights from the 2019 season. As I really loved their first showdown and several of the amazing shots we got from that. And we get another incredibly back and forth showdown. Like this, lots of rematches. Like the second round match between those two doesn't end up being as great as the first one. This one I felt was not the case. Like it was great to see lots of action from both robots, lots of damage by both robots, and this was an impressive showing from honestly both robots. So let's go ahead. I'll leave the floor to you four. Well, you five.
The thing is,
Well, go
about
first.
my thing about rematches, I will say that this fight is one that I didn't ask for, but was appreciated. Like I was like, this is a useless rematch. You already know what's gonna happen, but no, I did not expect this to happen at all. I literally started cheering when Minotaur KO'd Kobo. I was like, oh my god, no way! I was bouncing around, but it was like 6 a.m. in the morning. You know, I get up at 6 a.m. just to watch this. So yeah, I have no life. I agree, but like still, it's still
I love Cobalt. I love Cobalt. Some may say I'm a simp for just teams that have green coloring because I'm an Eagles fan and I am a Cobalt
Oh god,
fan.
are you a Kraken fan?
But to have no, I'm not a Kraken fan.
Thank God.
It
thank the
only
Lord
goes for
Jesus.
Cobalt. But to have the Eagles lose the Super Bowl and then have Cobalt lose to Minotaur, like felt really sad because both games were so amazing and I was so like excited at the beginning of both of these games because they were killing it. Like they were killing it. But just like how Minotaur was able to take all of the wedgelets off and that's how they beat Cobalt. A very similar way of how the the Chiefs just dissected our defense and
I'm pretty
beat
sure. I'm
us.
pretty sure
Very
Minotaur
similar.
versus
Felt very
Cobalt didn't.
similar emotions once the one.
I
I'm
have
pretty sure Minotaur versus Cobalt didn't have a shitty referee call though, so it's not really that.
No, okay.
Oh my
I will
God.
not. I will not blame the refs for
Eagles
that
fans
because our
go there.
defense was playing like actual garbage.
You
So
know,
I
you
don't
know,
blame
BBN,
I don't blame the ref ball for
BBN.
that.
It sounds like you're
I blame our
describing a
defense.
very entertaining soccer match because you know I like calling it
That
football instead.
cool. Whatever.
Okay.
But I'm still looking optimistically with Cobalt because I mean ultimately it'll still perform. It still is a incredible robot, but it sucks. I think it's the best one-on-one robot out of everyone
Oh yeah,
left.
definitely. Darren, you want to talk about this one? So I know
Definitely
you've been
one
wanting
of
to say something.
This was just good. I mean, I predicted Minotaur to win, but when the fight as I saw Cobalt absolutely dominating, I was like, this is fine. I love Cobalt more than Minotaur. I just love Cobalt so much because green and green. And then it was just they were dominating for so long, but then Minotaur got that hit in near the end that flipped him over, and this is just a good fight, man. Like uh it was just really good. Like the forks worked till they fell off, but it worked for a long time. Minotaur stuck with it and got that, and just never gave up, and that helped him out in the end. One quick tidbit about this fight is that in some brushes in the weapon of Cobalt got kind of stuck in its housing, which reduced the power of the weapon. So for a good chunk of that fight, Cobalt's weapon wasn't even at full power, apparently.
Yeah,
I think.
absolutely. Yeah, that would make sense as for why they couldn't self right at the end there, because normally Cobalt would be able to self right because they John Mladek built up that weapon area to where the weapon would be able to pop them right back over, or
Well, even if
when
the
they
weapon was
acquired that
solid,
robot. So,
even if like the
Yeah.
weapon was still like
Oh yeah, I
50%,
forgot about that.
even if the like, weapon was like still like 50%, I still think it would have been like really huge hits due to the fact that both robots have like such energy to them.
oh yeah, but
It's
yeah,
still,
what I will say is like Minotaur's durability really impressed me in this one with the fact that they were able to take so many of those huge hits from Cobalt, but eventually Minotaur managed to rip apart the forks on Cobalt, and that's kind of what costed Cobalt the fight. But we saw Minotaur look like a motor caught smoke once again, or was overheating or something like that. That's what I'm guessing was going on within that robot. But I'm guessing they have a similar type of system with their motors that they do with their batteries for why they survived the Sawblaze fight from last season. But yeah, and then eventually they managed to turn Cobalt over and win the fight that way. This was in no way a bad loss for Cobalt, because for one, they were winning most of the fight. And for number two, it was a loss to the eventual champs, so there's no shame in losing that. So, yeah.
Honestly, okay.
Shaker.
At least Green has a respectable
Remember,
predicted
I'm
champ,
on
unlike
the
Corey.
Green. Remember, I'm
So
on the,
true.
Unlike you.
remember, I'm
Okay.
on a time traveler from 2024. I can confirm that Minotaur gets the 32 seat.
Who let this brother cook? He's not cooking
And
right now.
and then what
But
happens is that Lucky Triangle 2 wins the giant nut. It absolutely
Okay, that's true.
And then
but
what
any
happens is that it's
Yeah, that's
2024.
true, actually.
Triton gets the number 1 seed. Glitch gets the number 2, and
Okay,
Horizon
whoa,
gets the number
whoa,
3.
whoa.
Switchback
Yeah,
gets
let's
the
hold
number
on now.
4.
yeah, like I think Cobalt could still absolutely be in line for a high seed
Gross.
if they win their next two fights, again, even though they are two non-spinners and Overhaul and Lucky. Because like the Death Roll win was definitely a good win on Cobalt's resume. This one, even though they lost that one, like it was definitely a quality loss without a doubt. And yeah, I imagine we're gonna get a real test of what that vertical spinner can do in their last two fights. And Minotaur undefeated right now. They got Witch Doctor for their next one, who I expect is probably also going to be undefeated up to that point. I expect that's probably going to be a main event between 3-0 robots. Because even though Witch Doctor's only had two fights, I fully expect they're probably going to win that fight with Gruff. I would love to see Gruff pull it. I would definitely love to see Gruff pull it off. I just think odds are more likely in Witch Doctor's favor for that one. So.
Speaking of, have you all seen a photo of Gruff with the hammer configuration?
Yes. Yeah,
It would be
I've seen
really
that a
silly if
few
they brought
times,
it.
but yeah, let's go ahead and talk about Minotaur versus Witch Doctor, since we've already talked about Cobalt versus Overhaul, since I don't think there's much to talk about with this awesome main event we got right there. Definitely main event of the season, in my opinion. Not sure if it'd be my number one fight of the season, but I absolutely can see why other people say it is, because it was that great of a fight. So, yeah.
What is the
Uh, Minotaur Witch Doctor, honestly,
up
could
there.
go either way. It's Minotaur Witch Doctor could go either way.
Yeah.
But just how, like, because both robots have had kind of similar wins, in my opinion. Because with, let's see here, what was Minotaur's first? Yeah, Minotaur's first fight was against Tantrum, and both Witch Doctor and Minotaur dominated their first fight. And then, personally, I think that like at the beginning of both of their second fights, they were on the ropes a little bit, but then they pulled through and ended up winning. And I can't say anything about their third fights because Witch Doctor hasn't had their third fight. Though Gruff is gonna beat Witch Doctor because it would be funny.
It would be funny. But I want to say this right here. I'm going to share my prediction right off the bat here. So, what I'm going to say this right here is just because I do kind of feel that Witch Doctor is going to win that fight with Gruff. I think that's going to be a battle for the 1 seed right there.
Yeah, I
Because
agree.
both robots have been looking great so far. Like, definitely both robots have shown that they have really powerful weapons, and they have pretty insane durability this year. I'm personally predicting if Witch Doctor does win that fight with Gruff, like I'm predicting they will. I think whoever wins this fight is going to have the 1 seed in the top 32 for this season, because the strength of schedule is there, the quality of victories is there for both robots, and even though some people may disagree with Witch Doctor's strength of schedule, Pori, but yeah, so basically, how I think that, of course, I'm going to predict Minotaur because Minotaur is my pick to win it all, and it's not because of controversy or anything. I'm staying away from the controversy at least because I feel it's unnecessary to talk about stuff that already happened. But yeah, realistically, this fight could go either way because Minotaur has definitely shown. Witch Doctor definitely has the design advantage weapon wise, but Minotaur has shown well that they can take it to vertical spinners very easily, including they have lots of experience with reach robots like Witch Doctor, Death Roll as well, and yeah, but cannot deny that Witch Doctor hits hard. Because, like, they've shown in the Ribot fight that vertical spinner hits hard. They've shown in the Fusion fight that they got incredible durability. And I expect we're going to see that weapon hitting hard once again in the Gruff fight. So, Minotaur's definitely got a big challenge coming. And I'm probably going to predict that's either going to be a knockout in the last minute, or I think that's going to be a judge's decision. And that one could go either way once again, and I think Minotaur is going to take it, though.
So
That's my prediction.
So here's my thing here. I feel like Witch Doctor versus Minotaur is like Witch Doctor versus Sawblaze. You see here, Witch Doctor versus Sawblaze. They had 3 fights together. 2019 Witch Doctor won, 2020 Sawblaze won, and 2021 Witch Doctor won. 2018 Witch Doctor and Minotaur fought. Yeah, you might have forgotten that, but Minotaur has already beaten Witch Doctor in 2018. You might have forgotten about that, but
Oh, that was before Witch Doctor was like a coded robot, though.
2018 Witch Doctor when it's asked to have reach, bro, that reach was awful. But
Yeah.
2020,
Yeah.
2021 they fought, and then here we are with the rematch. Now let's see. I'm just, I don't know. It could go either way. I don't know who's winning this one. I'm leaning towards Minotaur because I feel like Here's the thing. Okay, based opinion coming through, but double disc Witch Doctor is much better than single disc Witch Doctor, and especially that the double disc did a lot more work on Minotaur than I think single disc can do. Because single disc, it's just a single disc. There's not much there's not much what is it split.
Inertia.
Well, really, the one counter to that is like that. The one counter that I can think of, at least for the single disc configuration over the dual disc, is that like they can put more weight into one disc, meaning it can hit harder on a specific point of a robot right there, which is partly why it was able to hit so hard against like Sawblaze, Ribot, and so on. But I see your point, though.
The advantage of having double disc though is having 2 discs that aren't the same weight, but at least weigh like a weight like what 30 pounds or something like that. Both having like spin up like 250 miles per hour, both having more distance and width, and both hitting equally as hard. If I think that's the advantage with double disc. Like, you see single disc hypershock doing more damage, but you also see double disc hypershock doing a lot of damage as well. Like both disc configurations are good. I feel like double disc is better because it has more distance and width and more like area to attack, rather than single disc, where it's just that one area that can it's just one area like that's spinning. It's not like a lot. Like there's not a lot of distance. Like that, I feel like can even the fight out because you see double disc Witch Doctor actually, double disc Witch Doctor did a lot of work, but I feel like single disc Witch Doctor has. I think Minotaur has more like areas that it can hit.
Absolutely. Anybody else want to talk about that matchup?
I'll talk about it. So, Witch Doctor Minotaur. So this might be a hot take, but I guess I'll go for it because I'm funny. But I'll go for Witch Doctor here because
You're a Witch Doctor, son?
oh that
Damn.
that yes, but you're not supposed to tell anyone about that, you fucking rat. But I think Witch Doctor. The thing with Witch Doctor is that yeah, the double disc might not do so bad, but I feel like the thing with the the disc is in general is just that I feel like if Witch Doctor gets that one hit right, it could it could be over because like if Witch Doctor gets a good hit on the wheel, that could be it for Minotaur, and like there's been like we saw it here like Minotaur's not Minotaur's not vertical proof. It can take heavy hits to. It can take heavy hits to like heavy verts like Cobalt, but it was also definitely losing that fight to Cobalt until like it got the whole fort game.
Well,
Bye.
anything else about Minotaur versus Witch Doctor, or should we close out this podcast?
Yeah, I think we should close it out.
All right.
Close it
Well,
out, please.
that's gonna do it for this podcast. So thanks for watching this video. Like and subscribe as usual. Everyone who appeared on this one, their channel links will be linked down below. Definitely check out their stuff for the fun content and all that fun stuff. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.